In sports, the scoreboard doesn't tell the full story, but Netflix does. Stories about dads who happen to be world-class quarterbacks and a battle for the heart, soul, and direction of the multi-billion-dollar business of F1. Whether you're a diehard fan or you're brand new, Netflix has the stories for every type of fan. You can watch these incredible sports stories like Quarterback, F1 Drive to Survive, Untold, and many more now on Netflix.
Welcome to the Scarlet Supporters Pembrokeshire podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Wester is Bester from Scarlet Supporters Pembrokeshire with me, Lee G. Joining me as always is Big M. How are we, Martin?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I've actually had a really, really funny morning.
Go on. Tell us about this, mate. This is good. Go on.
About a week ago, filled up petrol in Tesco. My missus went in. She thought I was paying at the pump. I thought she was paying inside, so we drove off. So, when we realised, we went back, said, we have to look at the cameras, check. It was about just over a week ago now. I went back in today. And no, it wasn't you. It was someone else. They drove off. I was like, nah, mate. I know the petrol I put in. They pulled over. About 3 managers came over. They went through the cameras. I gave them the date, the time, the pump, the exact amount. No, it's not you. So I just continued on with the free petrol. I'm happy with that.
That's weird, isn't it? As without even trying, just to. Sometimes you just land on your feet, don't you? And you go. I think Tesco's can afford it. I think they can. Think they can do it, but guarantee you'll get like something in about 6 months' time, or something will drop through the door. They'll go, "We've detected that you drove off on such and such a date."
I've given them my number. I've given them everything. Just said, look, I fill up here pretty regularly, if you do manage to find it, call me in or give me a bell,
Blimey. See, my mum had it the other way around. She went to a local one. It was a couple of years ago when they were just bringing in pay at the pump. And she paid at the pump. And luckily, she got a receipt. But then she decided she wanted like a bar of chocolate or something. So she went in and bought a bar of chocolate and then walked out and drove off. And then an hour later, the police were around the house. And they were going like, you didn't pay for your petrol. So you need to come back now and either pay or come to the police station. And she's like, no, I paid for my petrol. And they said, no, you walked out of the station. She said, yeah, but I did pay at the pump before that. And luckily she had the receipt for the pay at the pump and all, and they could like tie it up with everything. But yeah, because she'd gone in after and just bought some chocolate and not paid for any petrol, and then they'd seen it drive off from the pump. They got police and all sorts of stuff involved. Weird, man.
It's mad, man. I got a feeling some poor bugger is going to be getting a letter through the door because of the petrol.
Paying for your petrol. Cool, fantastic. Yeah. So on the weekend, then you managed to miss the majority of Judgement Day.
Thankfully. Yeah, I was out in Dublin for one of my daughter's pageantry, and she done well. She won her title, so that's always good. But trying to get onto BBC when you're in the Republic of Ireland is a job and a half. So I only managed to catch the first 10-20 minutes, and you could just see the boys; they just weren't interested. So I decided I wasn't either.
Yeah, and so I went up for it this one with a mate of mine who's an Osprey.
Great day for you too.
Yeah, it was weird because there was nothing on the game. Do you know what I mean? I think if we didn't have the Glasgow game, that might have been a bit different. It felt like for the Dragons that it was much more important for the Dragons than it was for us. And it just felt, even from supporters, a lot of the Scarlet supporters that I saw were, we were singing and dancing before kind of thing, it was a bit more of a party, a bit more of a bit of fun. There wasn't that edge to it that, like at Christmas, that game was edgy. That was an intense game at Christmas. Saturday just felt a bit more kind of, I don't know. It didn't feel there was anything on it. Don't get me wrong, Judgment Day as a whole, I quite enjoy, a bit of a fun day out. I enjoy watching both games. I think everyone should stay and watch both games. If you go and watch both games and, just enjoy the game of rugby sort of a thing. And, so I was sat there. I watched, obviously, the Scarlets Dragons game, and my Ospreys mate was winding me up all the way through the Scarlets game. And then I wound him up all the way through Ospreys and Cardiff. So, there was something of interest there for me. But it could be a lot better managed. The whole thing of it, there was beer not available, beer only available in cans and massive queues. There was issues with trains getting in and out. There were, I think it was 41,000 tickets sold, I think they said, in a 65,000 seater stadium. And it looked like there were more than 20,000 seats left, So it was, I just think it could be better managed. If it was me, I'd do it first day of the season, and I'd go, this is your season kickoff, and I'd make it Scarlet Ospreys, Dragons, Cardiff, make it a big one. And so I know somebody loses a big home game, but the percentage that you take from a full Millennium Stadium would be higher. It must be.
But you've got to think, if you look at the 40,000, you've got to think you've got to split that in half, so it's only 20,000, and then tickets are a tenner, so that's going to be less than you sell normally. So if you sell tickets, let's say £20 a ticket, that's the same as having 10,000. So it's going to be more, but not much more.
But then if you're putting 65,000 plus hospitality plus all the
that's an if.
But that's what I mean. I think if it was first day of the season, this is your season opener, and it's all your big games, I think it would be, there'd be more on it, there'd be more people interested. I know why they do it at this time of year, because the weather's better and you can make more of a spectacle, and in theory the end of the season should be a bit more kind of, there's something on it, but there just wasn't. So it was one of those things that just kind of could have been a lot better than it was. The extra spectacle of the day. I had a great day. I enjoyed my day, but
I think I'll be going for the first time ever next season because it's in the season ticket. So it better be good. I'm relying on you now. If it's crap and I have a boring day and my kids are bored, I'm going to be blaming you, just you, no one else.
This is what I said on my other podcast last night. Is if you want. What the WRU should be looking at that as most kids' first introduction to the game, and there should be stuff in the streets. There should be bands in the street. There should be meet the player in the street. You've got the whole area around the Millennium Stadium, which is all closed off, and there's lots of people walking around there. Put something on. Put the entertainment on there. Make it a thing. So I remember my first game that my dad took me to, right, was 1983, I think it was, or 82 or 83. Japan was the ticket. Bledin Bowen's first, is either his first cap or he was captain or something like that. But I was tiny, and I still got the hat. I've still got the scarf. And I remember that day. I remember all the stuff from that day and everything I did because it was my first. I can't remember the score. I'm assuming we won, but it was an event, and for me it was special. And if you're going to take your kids to a first Scarlets game or whatever, and it's that one, it's Judgment Day where they've got all this stuff going on, and it's something to remember, and you will engage the kids in that. So. I think it's a missed opportunity, is what I think it is. It could be stage managed a lot better than what it is. Put it that way. So
it could be a lot bigger and a lot better.
Yeah,
basically. like I've told you my views on what I'd like to see for Judgment Day. You know, I'd like to see a 2-day event, you know, with all the the Premiership fixtures and one regional on each day. But you know, there's so many different ways that they can do things in the stadium and outside as well. Like they've got the Arms Park is totally free next door. You know, so they could do loads of stuff in there. If you wanted all the players and you wanted a bit of extra security, you could do all stuff in there. You know, there's no reason why you can't.
Yeah. So let's talk about the rugby then. It was rubbish. So okay, let's do community game.
You want to go straight into community? Let's talk a bit about the Scarlets, because we've had quite a lot of news this week.
Yeah, let's do rugby news. Let's do come-ins and go-ins, and then we'll briefly, very, very briefly talk about Judgment Day. So, 15 players announced last Friday as leaving. What did you make of the list?
Nothing too unobvious, so to speak. I was surprised to see both David Hughes and Taylor Davis leave. I would have assumed that one of them would have stayed. But other than that, I think, you know, more or less everyone could have figured this out. We could really look at, you know, who doesn't play, who was on stupid money, and, you know, we're bringing it back.
Yeah.
Who's basically on a starter's paycheck and isn't starting. And, you know, you got the likes of, you know, Will Griff-John, Patchell in there. And we know the amount of money the Halfpenny came in on, and there's just no way we can support that anymore.
Yeah, and it was one of those things, it's, you know, they tried making a big song and dance about Halfpenny and Patchell leaving. I don't know any Scarlet supporters that were really shocked by the fact that they were going. I think we've been talking about it. You know, that was what we were expecting since Christmas, really. So, yeah, I think it does leave the squad quite slim, for want of a better word.
Yeah, like we'll have a talk about the full squad next week when we've got a bit more time. But, you know, even looking at all the players that are leaving, I don't see our starting 15 or 23 dropping that much at all. I mean, what we lose defensively with Halfpenny, we gain an attack with whoever replaces him. And, you know, I'm just hoping that, you know, Tuipulotu carries on his game, and he is a more than capable replacement for Callum Mahoney. And, you know, we already know that Costello is our first choice over Patchell, so, you know, he's not much of a loss in that regards. I mean, overall, it's never good to lose a player. But, you know, we've had some good news with, you know, re-signings as well. You know, we've got our centre partnership down for the next few years at least. You know, like if we go through all the re-signings, we've got Ryan Elias, Joe Roberts, Eddie James, Johan Nicholas, Kemsley Matthias, Sam Wainwright, Jack Price and Morgan Jones. They've all signed new contracts. And, you know, besides Elias, all of them are, you know, 25 or under. So that's brilliant. And we've also had the news that Johan Lloyd is coming over the bridge. And,
which we spoke about that last week on the pod, didn't we? Because it was announced while we were recording. But it's, I'm not as excited by that as most people are, I'll be honest. He just seems to have had that dip in form with Bristol that, you know, he hasn't really featured that much. Don't get me wrong, last season, he was on fire and he was nailing a starting position. And I don't know if it changed, you know, if the ethos changed inside Bristol and he was out of favour or whatever. But I hope he regains the form that he had previously. Let's put it that way.
I think he's going to follow a similar suit to what Costello did. I think, you know, we're going to see him a little bit. We're not going to see lots of him this season. You know, about a dozen appearances, you know, off the bench and a handful of starts. Mostly, I think, because Costello's got to be in the Welsh setup by now. You know, he's just ridiculous in comparison to the others. But yeah, he's coming here as a 10. Peel has said he's here as a 10, so we're going to see him as a 10, and he's not going to get first choice anytime soon. It'll depend on the games, obviously, because sometimes we're going to want Dan Jones Dinky on the bench because we want that sort of that more game management, that kick in. We'll want that. So he's not going to be like Sam Lousy was, or like Fafita has been. They're not coming straight into the starting 15 and going all guns blazing. He's still only 22 years old. So I think he's actually a couple months younger than Costello. So we've got two boys, really young, incredibly talented, especially attacking. And it's going to work well for the future. It's just I'm thinking more 2-3 years down the line when they're really fighting for that starting position with each other, and long term we're never going to hold on to both of them.
That's what I'm thinking.
Anyone can see that there's both of them have got such high ceilings that we're never going to be able to pacify the pair of them. I mean, maybe in some magic alternate reality we do, but I just can't see it at the minute. But he is a good player. I mean, just look at what he did to us last season. I mean, he single-handedly tore us apart, and we are gaining that. And I don't know why he hasn't featured much this season for Bristol. It might be with McGinty coming in, a different style of 10. Maybe they don't
more
really
physical, innit?
Yeah, so they want a bigger.
Yeah. I was surprised he didn't go to Cardiff, to be honest. When Cardiff are losing, what's his name, Jared Evans
and Priestland.
Yeah, and I would have thought that would have been more kind of his thing. But like I say, I'm hoping that actually he does refine that form, and I'm anticipating Costello certainly after the World Cup. If he's not involved in the World Cup, it'll be because this is about now and not the future. I can anticipate after the World Cup it'll all be right. Okay, in 4 years' time, what's the side going to be in 4 years' time? And Costello will definitely be part of that. So and we'll lose Costello for a fair bit of time now.
Yeah, because obviously, speaking of Cardiff and their situation with the 10, Ben Thomas is the only player who can cover 10 there at the minute for next season. So it was a real shock, and we've sort of not had confirmation that Sam Davis is going over to France. So that's a really interesting one for those in Cardiff. We've just won the Welsh Shield. Yay, best of the bottom half. And we haven't got a 10 next season. That's fun.
That's right. I would have thought Patch would have gone. That's why I was fully expecting Patch or Dinky. One of them was definitely going to go. And if it was going to be Patch, I'd expect him to go to Cardiff. But so we still haven't had any news on Patch going there. I mean, that's what I mean. We've officially released him from his not like a release, but we've announced he's going. So there's no reason for anyone to, not announce they've signed him. So that's another one in itself. But I'm still expecting, another one. I'm hoping for 3 signings. I know I'm not going to get 3, but I'm hoping for at least 1. Well, we're all kind of hoping for a big second row, aren't we? That's to take a bit of pressure off Lousy. You can see on Judgment Day, we missed Lousy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Massively. And he's not injured. I haven't seen him on an injury list, or have I missed that? But I think he's just been rested.
Yeah, barring the red cards, he's played more or less every minute. So, you've got to rest him where he is. And, like we said, watching the game on Saturday, watching what I did of the game, no one was interested. They were more concerned with getting through to the final whistle in one piece.
Yeah.
So, I know from what I've read from the match report, Kieran Hardy and, Carwin, they had pretty good games. So, that's always positive that some people are going in. I'm a little disappointed we're not carrying any sort of momentum forward, but at the same time, I think this team is still focused on that Clermont game. That's where they are. They still riding that high. So these last 2 weeks don't really matter.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, Judgment Day was kind of. You felt it from the kickoff, from the very first kickoff. It just didn't feel like they were up for it. Like Dragons were taking 2-3 meters out of every tackle. There was no competition on the gain line. There was nobody being driven back. There was no effort to turn the ball over, and you could just see players where 3-4 weeks ago they were getting up, they were fighting to get back into position, they were fighting to get off the floor, they were fighting to get back in. It was just a little too slow, a little lackadaisical, a little say that they didn't care. And okay, we've got a game against Glasgow and it's more important, but you're a professional player. And I think announcing all the levers the day before, people like Dav Hughes that was then on the pitch in the second half. So, okay, he might be playing for, the opportunity for somebody to sign him or something like that. But then, what else are you really playing for? So, yeah, it wasn't the most exciting thing. We just didn't look like we attacked. Genuinely didn't. The Dragons were running 3-man, 4-man overlaps, and we were kind of trotting across. Jordan Williams' try was a really decent try, and they did to us what we usually do to people. They overloaded against the fullback. Costello, Pombier had to come in off his wing. So he's defending 3 on the wing, outside of Tom Rogers at fullback. How do they get 3 outside bloody Tom Rogers? It just, so he gets turned to go outside, then he gets turned inside, then he gets turned outside again. So, yeah, I'm not taking that as that was Combier's fault. I'm taking that as how the hell do they overload 3 on the winger with everybody else? What are we playing at? Will we let that happen? So, yeah, it's a difficult one to kind of. I can't find any positives out of that game other than we've had a foot up the jacksie that I think we probably needed going into that Glasgow game. I think we've had a bit of a sharpener where I think we had a couple of players that thought, that's it now. We're all singing or dancing, and actually we've got to put the hard work in again. We got to go back up front, and we got to fight up front, and we got to. Every inch of that grass needs to be a battleground, and if it's not, we're going to come off second best, which we did on Saturday because Dragons just wanted it more. But it was as simple as that. They just wanted it more, and they wanted every single ball. They wanted every single blade of grass. They wanted every single point, and they wanted it right up to the 80 minutes, and we didn't. So we'll leave Judgment Day there, mate.
Yeah, obviously we finish with this, taking nothing away from the Dragons. They thoroughly deserved their win.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But they weren't playing against anyone. They were just playing against stickmen, basically.
Well, and you can only play the team that stands in front of you, innit? Yeah. So that's our. We talk a lot about learnings and work-ons and that, and some of that is attitude. Some of that is you. If as a professional, you need to be at 80 to 90% of your game on every game. You need to give 100% effort, but you need to be at a high level of performance at every single game. And if you're not, then there's somebody else there that will. So there we go. Right, so let's talk about the big one then. Let's talk about Glasgow and that. Are you going?
Oh, 100%. I'm there. The first opportunity I had to get my tickets, I got them. I'm not missing that. There's just no chance. And from what I've seen as well, posting around that all 4 stands are open. So that's 10,000 plus. So that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I was just going to check now and see, because there's been a bit of a daily update about how many tickets have been sold. Haven't actually seen that one there. The last update was just, are you coming on Saturday? Yeah, just says that they've sold they've opened the other stand. So yeah, it's from what I've heard, Glasgow sent back a lot of tickets, and
Yeah, well, I saw an update from them, and they couldn't. This is the word they used. They were unable to arrange coaches down from Glasgow to Llanelli, which is absolutely laughable and disgusting. You know, your first ever European semi-final, regardless of whether it's Challenge Cup or Champions Cup, and you're not even going to put on buses for your supporters. You know, that's a massive cop-out in itself.
Yeah, and I think it shoots them in the foot because, you know, when we went up there a couple of weeks ago, it was a fairly close game. It was a fairly tight game. The weather played a large part in that, but the supporters played a large part in that as well, you know, and to now allow us that advantage that we'll quite happily take, quite happily go with. Yeah, I think that's a massive shot in the foot for them and a massive boost for us because there's going to be flags on every seat. So I've been told there'll be.
Yes, there are flags. I'm going down Saturday morning to place them out. 9 o'clock Saturday morning. They've got, I think, about 20 of us is the list so far. We need to cross-reference with each other to see who we've doubled up on. But yeah, if you're interested in, you know, coming down in the morning, just put some flags on feet, contact 316, get your name in there, and, you know, come down. I'm pretty sure the club will give you something free anyway, more than just the flag. I'm hoping.
Yeah, have a flag.
Maybe a drink as well, you know.
But I've seen lots of enthusiasm for the game. I've seen lots of people really getting up for it. I think it's going to be fantastic. What I would say to people that are going is go early, get there early, because the one thing we know about travelling into Llanelli on match day is it's a bloody nightmare. Getting into the car park, and I'm assuming that Tata Steel will be open because it usually is for big games. They'll send out all of the advice, the parking advice on the weekend and whatever. But go early, aim to get there at least an hour before, because I can almost guarantee you'll be stuck in traffic for at least half an hour. So, but you know, enjoy the atmosphere, because the last time we were in a semi-final at home in Europe was
never.
Exactly. I can remember a couple of quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, I've had some brilliant quarterfinals, La Rochelle, Munster, but no, never.
So this is, you know, pretty huge, and I reckon by Wednesday they'll announce that they're going to have the temporary stands in front again, and we'll have another 2,000 seats. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it just maxed out and just everybody bouncing, jumping, like, you know. But
yeah, I was in one of those temporary seats to the La Rochelle game. You know, West Stand, right behind the post. It was me, my boy, and not my youngest anymore, but how old was she? She'd been 5 months old in a baby. Literally, I had the baby carrier on me because we were going away to Cornwall for the weekend. So my missus had buggered off, and, you know, I had my boy and the baby, and we went to the game. But there's no chance I'm missing that. Like
that, for that game, I was in the second row on the try line in the bottom right hand corner, and rubbish view of the game, because, you know, you trying to watch it on the big screens and all of that kind of stuff. That was the best view. But yeah, that was a fantastic game to watch and just be part of. And I think it took us about half an hour to get out of the stands after, just because people were singing and dancing and all of that. And it was a great experience. And if you are going to take your kids to the first game or something like that, that's the game to take them to. That's the type of game that you want to be introducing your kids, and you want to be saying, this is what's possible. This is how it could be, and this is how it should be going forward. So I just hope the club kind of does something a bit extra to, there's going to be loads of people there. And
flags.
Yeah, I'm talking about food.
Oh, no.
The food village. Let's get a load of hot dog vans around. Let's get a load of beer vans around. Do you know what I mean? Let's actually go and say, right, for one day, let's control that parking a little bit better and say, this is where everything's going. Let's make something a bit more of it, because it's a massive opportunity to win a few more supporters, to make a couple of wishy-washy ones a bit more solid, and to really enjoy the day. And it looks like it's going to be a nice sunny day as well. So, yeah.
Yes, something we did before the Clermont game, and it was managed pretty badly, if I'm honest. We had a little under-9s and under-10s festival going on the training pitch beforehand.
Yeah.
But, they had it run till 6:30, which was really weird. But, we could do something incredibly similar with this, but have it finished at like 3:30, 4 o'clock when the gates in the barn open. Get loads of kids down to play in the morning. I mean, there's plenty of hub officers and that to arrange things. And, just get as many kids down there. So they finish when the barn opens, they go in, whatever. And, because I know that they've sent out to all the clubs reduced tickets for registered players and coaches. So if you're a registered player, £1 a ticket. You're a registered coach, £4 a ticket.
Yeah.
And I think they've reduced the senior, the adult tickets now, because obviously it's only the crap seats left. They're all down to £15. So there are more initiatives to get that. It's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. So, there's no reason why you can't do it.
And potentially last game of the season, could be the last game of the season. Last home game of the season. After the crap that Welsh rugby has been through this year, it'd be nice to finish the season smiling. Do you know what I just go and enjoy the game and enjoy the game for what it is. But so let's talk about the actual game. What are you expecting from Glasgow? What are you expecting from us?
Glasgow are, they're a top 4 side in the URC. They really are. There's no ifs, no buts. They are very physical and they like to attack. I mean, I know we spoke about this after the away game. They've only gone for the post once in this year. That just tells you the type of team they are. They want to attack. They are very big on their forwards. They like their lineouts. They like their driving mauls, which for me means we need to make sure that Lousy, Fafita and Shingler are all on that pitch. Just so our defensive lineouts, we can stick 2 pods up and we got that extra man in there, just to swim through the maul, just to try and break it down. Because that's one area I am very fearful of Glasgow, is that lineout maul. But, other than that, I think our defence, if, they go back to where they were against Clermont, then, there's no reason why there's anything to fear from them. Especially if they've had a few injuries now that we're still waiting to hear back from, like Hugh Jones, Forbes. These are big players for Glasgow. They have got strength and depth. Not going to say this is going to be a weak side by any means, but these are, pretty key players for them who might not be available. Same as Callum Mahoney for us.
Yeah, well, we know Callum Mahoney's not going to be there. We're hoping Dan Davis will be back. I saw that the other day that they're expecting Dan Davis to be back. Apparently he could have been back for Judgement Day, but they wanted to just play it safe, which is fair enough. So, yeah, I think the back row battle is key. I'd have Fafita and Lousy in second row, and I'd run. You're virtually running a 5-man back row then, aren't you? With those 2 on the pitch. So, yeah, I think key player for us I think the key position is scrum half. And I think Hardy, he blows hot and cold. When he's good, he's great, and when he's not, he's a liability. And There were bits on Saturday that you just go, oh yeah, there we go, lovely, yeah, we're back in it now. And then there's other bits that you just go, what were we doing there? Why? I don't understand. So I would prefer to go with Gareth Davis to start with.
Really,
myself. I would
be picking hard. Like, I'm not going to say anything about Cowdo. Gareth Davis has been brilliant. You know, the only negative I see in his game is his box kicking, and it hasn't been anywhere near great. But Hardy has, and I think that sort of game management, that territorial battle, I think that's going to be really important. So that's why Hardy edges it for me. You know, Gareth on the bench, 100%. You know, he comes on 55 minutes. The pace he's got, you know, those intercept lines that he runs, you know, brilliant. But to start the game, just to settle in, it is a risk because, like you said, Hardy does blow hot and cold. But, you know, I would prefer Hardy just, you know, for his superior kicking.
But then if we're going to kick that much ball back to them, they're going to crucify us. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I mean. You got to kick to compete. And, you know, Gareth Davis has done, maybe 20 to 30% of his kicks have done that. And, you know, Hardy is, you know, over 50%, I think. So, you know, that's a massive difference in this type of game. And you need your exits from your 22. And that's the main thing I'm looking at. You don't want to be giving away early points.
Well, I'm thinking more from an attacking point of view. I'd have anywhere outside our 22 and inside, you know, in between the 22s, you want Gareth Davis on the pitch because, you know, the speed of ball, the speed of pass, and he just needs half a yard. He needs half a yard, and you've got another winger on the pitch. So it'll be interesting. I think that dictates a lot of the game plan. You know, how we're going to play, where we're going to play. I think the rest of the team pretty much picks itself. It's not a difficult team to pick.
Yeah, wingers is one that I'm getting stuck on. You know, that's something that I'm really struggling with because we've got Steph Evans, you know, Johnny McNichol back, Combia, and Tom Rogers. So, you know, and they're only going into 2 spots because if Halfpenny's fit, he's got to start for his defensive positioning and goal kicking. And
see,
you know, the way
I wouldn't have Halfpenny there.
No,
I'd leave Halfpenny out completely and Patch, and I'd go with McNichol at fullback, Combia on one wing, and Steph Evans on the other, with Tom Rogers to come on if need be. And I just think that you've got 3 players there that cause people issues. You know, McNichol has been out for God knows how long and is still the number 1 offloader in the URC. He's got the highest amount of defenders beaten, and he's in the top 5 on yards made. You know, and he's been out for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever. You know,
he's only missed 1 URC game. It's been through all the European matches he's missed.
Is it? He's been out for a while. Anyway, so he's, you know, he's one of the top kind of offloaders. So I'd have him there, you know, every time.
McNichol starts for me. You know, it doesn't matter where he is. I'd have to keep Halfpenny. Just, you know, his organisation, his defensive acumen is too big of a loss for me in this style of game. And he is a big game player, as we know. And my other wing, and I've gone with Steph Evans over the other 2, just because, you know, his ability to step in at 9, first and second receiver, in terms of deception and developing attack, he's just too important.
So, you know, I think this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with, you know, squad selection for next year. We pretty much got everyone that we want to fit now, with the exception of possibly Scott Williams and Foxy. And I was surprised to see both of them not on the list, I'll be honest, to leave. So I'd say they're the only 2 players that are on the injury list that I'd want to kind of see on the pitch. But then you look at what we've done without them.
There's one on the sort of injury list, not on the injury list, but he's been out for a long time, and that's Samson Lee. And we've seen him in a few training videos recently. And, you know, if he could get 80% to where he has been in the past, he would be unbelievable. You know, he's still head and shoulders the best tight end that we've got It's just whether or not he can bring that back. And if he's fit and available, I would be tempted, probably more, loyalty than anything, to put him on the bench for this game. But obviously it depends 100% on his sort of fitness and where he is himself.
Yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting one. So what are your predictions for Saturday? What time is kickoff?
5:30.
5:30 kickoff. So
it's a decent one. We're not clashing with any of the club games. It's plenty of time to come down after your local match. So, that's worked out really well for us. So predictions-wise, it's a tough one. Oh, I'm going to go 33-28 us.
Okay. I'm going to go 22-20 us. So there we go. That's the job done. Right.
So single scores. We're keeping single scores.
Yeah. So that's that's all of the big boys done. So before we look at the community game, we've got, and the community game is really starting to hot up now. It's really starting to get to the interesting point. But before we do that, we've got a final on Wednesday. The Pembrokeshire Schools under 15s against Islwyn Schools 15s at the Millennium Stadium. What cup is it? It's the Lewis something.
It's the Lewis Miller Bowl. It's part of it's the Dower Shield system. It's if you got the Dower Shield, which is the best, the Morgan Griffiths Plate, and the Lewis Miller Bowl. And after a very poor start to the season, they've managed to basically make through to a final, and it's unreal for these boys, and it's going to be a memory they're not soon to forget. So I'm hoping that enough people will get down there, and I'm hoping the schools have been pretty nice, and they've arranged for some transport for some pupils to go down to, because as far as I know, it's free entry, which again is absolutely brilliant. But it's a full day, because you've got the DC Thomas Bowl Plate and Cup early in the morning, and then you've got the 3 under 15s counties games sort of mid-morning afternoon. So it is a big day, and it is going to be an event. Yeah,
and I think the boys have done really well to get it. It's always one of those things that there's a little bit of luck involved, but then there's also a lot of hard work, and particularly when you're up against the kind of sides that Pembrokeshire played this year, there's a lot of hard work gone into getting to where those boys are. So. Full respect to the guys that are there. It's going to be a fantastic day. And I know it's easy to say enjoy it. That's the last thing you're thinking about when you're playing is enjoy. You're thinking about winning. You're thinking about your job. You're thinking about what you're going to do. You're thinking about all of those systems. But just every now and again, just stop and look around, look at where you are, feel the grass, enjoy the changing room, enjoy the walk in, enjoy the atmosphere, stop and look around and see what's, take in everything that's happening there. Because for most of those boys, for 90% of those boys, that's the last time they're going to play on that ground. Very, very few boys will get the opportunity to do that consistently. So make the most of it while you're on there, boys, because it's a thing to be enjoyed.
Make sure you get a few blades of grass in your socks before you walk off the pitch. Like, take them home, grow your own little Millennium Stadium in your back garden.
Yeah. Well, when I played in that final, we were playing somebody from North Wales. I can't even remember who we played, but we played on some kind of like park pitch in the middle of nowhere on a Saturday morning. People walking the dogs around the outside and all of this kind of stuff, and I'm like, and this is a World Cup final. Like, I know it's not the Jewish Shield. We played in the one below, but this is a big deal for us, and it wasn't as big as it should have been back then.
It wasn't given the respect.
Yeah, and especially I had 2 tries in that final, and I remember scoring the second try. The second try came from a drive over because we had a massive pack back then. And I remember diving over the line, standing up, and the first thing I remember seeing was some old granny with his shopping trolley walking past. That's the bit that stuck in my head from that final. So, yeah. So when you are there tomorrow, boys, enjoy it. Really take in the atmosphere. Take in everything you can. The bus ride, the weather. You have a little tour of the stadium and all of that kind of stuff. Just enjoy it. Make the memories. Make a memory that is going to stick with you until you're old and grey and nearly 50, because that's what it will. And then you'll have the celebration after, when you have your end of year do. Oh my Lord! Oh, I remember my end of year do for all the wrong reasons, but it's all part of the team that you're in. I'm still mates with a lot of the players who were in that team. For me, and like I say, I'm nearly 50, and that was when we were under 15s. So those players are going to stick with you. You'll be surprised how many of them kind of come in and out of your rugby life as you progress. So yeah, enjoy it, boys. Really, really enjoy it. And obviously, we're predicting a comfortable Pembrokeshire win. Goes without saying.
Well, I'm predicting.
Yeah. So yeah, fingers crossed. It'll be a nice 25-30 point there. Lots of fantastic tries and well deserved as well on that one. So right, let's do the men's game, because yes. My. So championship. Narberth Cross Keys. We said this was a really, really important game for Narberth. If Narberth were going to do anything, they had to win this game, and they lost 28-22.
It's gutting, and I think that bonus point is massive though, because they're still in the fight. But, it is going to be an uphill battle now for that fourth place. I think Ystrad Rhondda have got that sort of down now, just because Narberth have lost. Yeah. So they've got a couple of games in hand, and they 3 points clear of Narberth, and 2 points clear across Keys. So I think they're going to be comfortable. They've got the lead on that. So Narberth is going to. I think it's going to be fifth place again. Is the best they can hope for.
Well, I think they'll overtake Cardiff Met, because Cardiff Met have only got one game left, haven't they? And the Cardiff Met are 2 points ahead of Narberth. I say it's you've got Narberth, Cross Keys, Cardiff Met, Ystrad Rhondda. They're all on 59, 60, 61, 62 points. So it is a sexy part of the table. I'm gutted that they lost, because a win on Saturday would have just changed a lot of stuff in that table. But it is what it is. Who have they got this week? So they've got...
It's a big one. It's a really big one. It's Pontypool at home.
Oh, yes, yeah. Crikey.
Yeah.
Oh, what a game. And I think if Pontypool win this, they're promoted, aren't they? I think they're automatically promoted anyway, but I think this would, if they beat Narberth on Saturday, that means that they're promoted as champions, I think.
No, they won't be champions. There's too many games left. I'm trying to work. There's 16 teams in the league, innit? Or was it 14?
I thought it was 14.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, 14. So that means Bargoed can get to 103 points. And Pontypool are on 94. So they're not quite...
They're nearly there.
They're going to get it, because they're 19-19. We know they're going to get it. Neath the same. They're 6 points clear of third place Bargoed. So
maybe they guarantee themselves promotion if they win this weekend.
Yeah, possibly. That's something they can look forward to.
Yeah, I saw something around that, big game for Pontypool. But, Narberth have played Ponty a couple of times. They played them in a cup, they played them in the league, and they've always given them a good game. They've always pushed them,
The earlier league result down in Pontypool Park, it was 54-23. Now, I know a 30-point margin is pretty big. But, to score 23 points against what is essentially a semi-professional side is no mean feat. That's hell of a good going.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's going to be difficult to predict a Narberth win this weekend. But, faith in the boys that they can pull something out of the bag, and anything that they pull out against Pontypool. Like I say, Pontypool are already talking about how they're going to perform next season. Do you know what I mean? So that's the level that they're at. And Pontypool are quite annoyed with Leslie with the whole thing. But I can see Narberth making a really decent game of this on Saturday. A really decent game.
Good.
But I can't see a win.
No, let's hope for some bonus points then.
Yeah, let's hope that they get something out of it. Okay, Division 1 West.
Yes, big news. Crymych are officially promoted.
They are officially promoted. I thought they had one.
Promoted. They can't drop below third now. They're going up.
Ah, right. That's what it was. Right. Okay. Yeah. So they had quite it was Llangennech. No, they got Llangennech this week. Leslie Wanderers last week, wasn't it? I mean, they only scraped it. They scraped it 12 points to 11. That's a squeaky bums, but it's so many games at this kind of end of the season. It is quite difficult to
keep it going. Well, you got to think they played Aberystwyth midweek, and they're not exactly an easy team. I mean, the only thing Crymych will be a bit disappointed on from the weekend is not picking up the 5 points, not getting that bonus point, because it does, give Llangennech an opportunity to go above them. And, Llangennech, they play in Felinfol away, I think, tomorrow night, so they'll have a chance to go top then. But, other than that, Crymych, they've done the hard work. They've got promotion, and, they can start celebrating now because, that's the main thing.
So other results from last weekend then: Pembroke lost 67-19 to Gowerton. Newcastle Emlyn, decent win over Penclough 46-22. And Aberystwyth beat Whitland 39-20 at Whitland. So, like you say, that leaves the table. I mean, Pembroke are, to be expected, but that leaves Crymych on top, 78 points. With Newcastle Emlyn in third on 75 points. In between the two is Llangennech, and Llangennech have got a game in hand on the pair of them and are on 75 points. I'd say Gorseinon are pretty much out of it now, 62 points. I don't think that's realistic for them to get anywhere close to the top.
They can't. Only Gowerton can get into that top 3 now. And if Llangennech or Newcastle Emlyn pick up 2 points, that's all they need. They need 77 points to guarantee promotion.
Yeah.
So, that's coming in. That's coming this weekend. The promotion side of it should be sorted this weekend.
Well, yeah, especially when you consider the fixtures. So, like I say, Llangennech, Felinfol on Wednesday night. And then on Saturday, Crymych at home against Penclough. Penclough have won 2 games all season. So I can't see them putting up a particularly strong game against Crymych. So that's realistically, that's a bonus point win. Anything less than a bonus point win there for Crymych is disappointing.
Yeah.
Whitland are away in Gorseinon. Might be an interesting game, but it's I can't see Crymych. That's what I was saying about Gorseinon. Have they got anything to play for now? I don't think they really have,
No, they're out of everything. So it's only 2 games they've got left to play. So, maybe time to give some of the younger boys a run out. So who knows?
Yeah, and that might be the opportunity that Whitland might need. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about Llangennech, Gowerton. I know that they're not Pembrokeshire sides, but it does affect Crymych and Newcastle Emlyn. So that should actually be quite a tough game for Llangennech, because like you say, Gowerton and there is still something there for Gowerton. If Gowerton can pull off a win, that throws, the top of the table into a little bit of a flap, in a way. So yeah, best of luck to Gowerton, and then Newcastle, Emlyn, Pembroke.
Yeah, this is the only downside I see for Gowerton. I can't see Newcastle, Emlyn, and Llangennech dropping any points. So that's going to take this season away. Otherwise, it could have been really interesting, because Newcastle, Emlyn have still got to travel to Crymych. They've still got to travel to Gowerton as well. So it could have made the last weekend something really good. But it's just not going to be there. We're going to have everything barring, top of the table champion sorted before the last week.
Yeah. Well, next Wednesday, so we'll talk about this on next week's pod. You've got Crymych at home to Newcastle, Emlyn next Wednesday. I just think it's a fantastic way to end the season, because you've got Crymych, Newcastle, Emlyn, and then you've got Llangennech, Crymych, and then you've got, what was the other game that I saw? Yeah, Llangennech, go Sign-on. It's a really good finish to the season. There's lots of games there that mean something. There's
still like 3 or 4 games, but in between the top 4, so they're still really heavily involved with each other. They can control their own fate to a certain extent.
But it's getting tasty, isn't it? And that's, like I said, at the minute, the community game is probably more interesting than the professional game at the minute. It's a really good end to the season. So speaking of really good ends to the season, Division 2 West.
Oh, yeah.
So Kidwelly beat Milford 43-7. Fishguard lost to Lucha 62-3. But then,
big one.
Is it second? It was second v third or second v fourth,
yeah.
wasn't it? Temby at home to Nankaredig. And we spoke about this game last week, and we said just how important this game was for Temby. They came out 20 points to 8 win, which puts them back in second place now. So I know Kidwelly has still got the games in hand, but Pontedilais 77 points, Temby second place 63, Kidwelly third place 58 points, 3 games in hand. But I think Kidwelly's running is quite a difficult one. Oh, no, it's not. No,
it's only the one game.
It's Temby that have got the difficult running, isn't it? Yeah.
This weekend is the big one for Temby.
Yeah, that's right. I knew one of them had a difficult running. So,
well, I'll be honest. Pontedilais and Nankaredig, they've got some big games, but all 3 of them.
Yeah, well, this weekend is Pontedilais at home to Temby. And, if Temby can turn them over this weekend, that throws all sorts of cats into the chicken run, because yes, Pontedilais are quite a bit ahead, but it's not done and dusted. It's not done and dusted, and I think
it's really not at all. And Temby, obviously they're only fighting for promotion. They know they're not going to come away anywhere near the top place. But for Pontedilais and Kidwelly, they are going to be fighting each other for this top spot. And while Pontedilais do have the advantage, if you look at the run-in, obviously Kidwelly, their toughest game is Nankaredig. But Pontedilais have got Temby, Nankaredig, and Mumbles all in their last 4 games. So these, these are 3 sides currently top 4, top 5 of the table. It's not easy. They're gonna have to be on their best, and basically they need bonus points to ensure they do come out on top, because that's going to be the only thing separating them at the end of the season. And I think that's the big positive for Tenby. Okay, they have got Pontedilais, this weekend, which it's going to be hard, A point is probably a good result, especially with it being away. But Nancaredig have also got Ponta Delice away. They've also got Kidwelly away. And the last game of the season is Tembi at Nancaredig. So that is so tasty. I mean, that's going to be a day to remember, because I just got a feeling that they're going to come to that game of the season and they're probably going to be level on points or something. And, winner takes all. It's going to be one hell of a day. I'm bouncing for that.
So let's hope Tembi can take something out of Ponta Delice this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I think they got the team to do it. I think they've got the boys there to do it, and they got the attitude, which is good. Fishguard at home to Kidwelly. That's a tough call.
Yeah.
I can't see them getting in it. And the same when Milford at home to Mumbles. I can't really see them taking anything out of that. So it really is all on Tembi at Ponta Delice. But I will remind our Tembi followers, and there are quite a few, that I played in a game against Ponta Delice many years ago that was 103-0 or something like that. So and that was against Ponta Delice. So they're more than doable. They're more than Tembi are more than capable of doing that.
No, I understand that, but talking about the game from the 1800s to now, that's a bit of a difference, isn't it?
That game is very firmly in my head as
it's not in any record books.
It'll be there somewhere. It's got to be somewhere, because I remember that day. It was a really nice day.
You dreamt that game. I know you did.
They had the bus driver on the wing, and he didn't have a pair of boots. That's fair play. They turned up, but they had the bus driver on the wing. On the wing. So, anyway, Division 3. Division 3. So, results from last weekend. Tight game at Aberaeron. Aberaeron 7-5. We said it was going to be a tight game. So a 7-5 win over Neyland. Neyland just seemed to have lost the ability to score points over the last couple of weeks. I don't know why, but they have. Cardigan lost 15-31 at Lampeter. A walkover for Larne at Quins, 20-0. Haverfordwest came out on top in... so what I've been told was actually a really... there wasn't a lot of niggle in that game, which I'm shocked at. I'm disappointed. I expect some niggle between Langham and Haverfordwest, but 27-13 win in Langham. St Clair's a walkover against Llanybother, and then St David's 46-0 against Tregaron.
Boom.
So, again, in this league, it's... St Clair's are pretty much there.
It's St Clair's and Lampeter. This is what it is. I know Larne are currently in second, but they can't reach the same sort of maximum points. Lampeter could finish on 105, and St Clair's can finish on 104. So it really is those two fighting it out with each other, who can keep up winning with bonus points. Because, as these games come thick and fast, both of them, what are they? Let me have a look at the table now. They've both got like 6 or 7 games left each. Yeah. St. Clair's got 6 games, Lampeter got 7 in 4 weeks. So, these are going to be coming thick and fast. And they still got to play each other in St. Clair's.
That's what I was going to say. There's still that key game in St Clair's, which is quite close to the end of the season, and I think
then the return fixture is the week later.
So, yes, that's what it is. So it does all come down, the last couple of weeks of the season. It's just every league you go through now it's coming down to the wire. It's all coming down to the wire. There's still a good couple of weeks left in the lower leagues that are just really good.
Yeah, outside of the championship, everything is to play for. No one is a clear runaway winner. There's still a good couple teams in each league that can, slip in front of each other, and it's just brilliant to follow and watch.
Yeah. Well, midweek games then, as people try to finish their season on time. So midweek game this evening, Langham versus Neyland. Do you know what? I can see Langham sneaking this. Something's happened at Neyland. Don't know what. They just seem to have lost the ability to score. And, Langham played quite well against Haverfordwest last weekend. So I can see Langham nicking this one. I really can.
Well, there's not really much in between Haverfordwest and Neyland, and Neyland are in a bit of a sour patch. So yeah, I'm going to back Langham with you.
And then tomorrow night we've got Larne at home to Haverfordwest.
Yeah, same old story. Larne, they're up there. They're not going to get promotion, but they are the best of the rest, essentially.
And I think it comes down to reputation out at the end of the year that, Larne is a tiny, tiny little village, tiny little town compared to Haverfordwest. Yeah, but it's, you look at the size of Haverfordwest and they should be destroying Larne, but, Larne are just doing the right things. So I can see Larne winning that one as well. And then we move into Saturday. So Haverfordwest at home to St. David's.
My head is telling me Haverfordwest for this one, but my heart is saying St. David's. They've had a good win, so maybe they can back it up, get an away victory as well this season. So I'm going to go for St. David's by you.
Yeah, and I think depends on how tough that Larne game is on Wednesday. To come off a game on Wednesday, I doubt they train before playing it again on Saturday. So, it does kind of might lose a couple of players through injury, might be a bit battered and bruised. So I'm going St. David's here as well. Neyland are at home to Cardigan. And again, I think that depends on how Neyland play midweek, how they get on against Langham. If they have the positivity battered out of them, Cardigan might be able to nick something there.
Yeah, I mean, I think home advantage should be enough to see Neyland through, but who really knows the way they've been playing lately? But no, I'm going to stick at home for this one.
Well, I'm going to go for a Cardigan win there. I think end of the season, I think that they've got something to play for, pride and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going for a Cardigan win. And then we've got Pembroke Dock Quins at home to Abereyron.
Yeah, Abereyron have been, pretty consistent. Where they are, they're definitely a top half team. So, I'm backing Abereyron for this one too.
Yeah, me as well, unfortunately. I think I saw a couple of Quins boys on Saturday at Judgement Day and said hello. But I can see Abereyron taking this one. St. Clair's at home to Langham. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to call.
Yeah, how many points are Langham going to score, really? That's the question, isn't it?
If any.
Whoa, be nice.
Yeah. Be nice. Well, Langham have got the midweek game against Neyland. Which of those two games, which game are you going to focus on? Which game are you really going to go for?
You know what I mean? I reckon Langham play their best squad against Neyland in midweek, and they play their youth against St. Clair's on the weekend. Because, those boys did awesomely well to get to the final of the Youth Bowl. So, let them crack on. Let them have a go at senior rugby, innit? There's no tougher test than St. Clair's in this league.
Yeah, I think the Langham youth have got a youth cup final, county cup final coming up as well. So I think they're in training camp for that, I think.
30th in there.
And then last game on Saturday is Tregaron at home to Larne, and again, that should be a straightforward win for Larne. I can't see anything other than that. Can you?
No, nothing for me. Larne are going to take that over, and outside of these leagues, we had the WRU Cup finals on Sunday. We had Newbridge beating Nant Conwy 29-13 in the Division 1 final. Pontypool taking Ystrad the 28-16 in the Championship final, and Cardiff doing Newport 13-10 in the Premiership Cup final. So this seems as though now all the cup finals are coming to an end. The season's drawing in. Everything in these leagues matter now.
Yeah. It's a good end to the season. You know, what a great time to be doing a podcast on this sort of stuff, man. Because this is brilliant stuff to finish the season.
Yeah. We've got the URC quarterfinals lined up as well for, in 2 weeks' time. So, it doesn't get much bigger than this as it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note then, mate, have I forgotten anything else this week? Was there anything else?
I just chucked those finals in as quick as I could before you had a chance to speak. I knew you'd forget them. So,
I haven't forgotten.
We're all good, mate. You've done well. Nothing forgotten.
Nothing forgotten.
You even got the British Shield bloody fixture in straight away, which I had in the back of my mind. He's going to forget these. I know he's going to forget these.
God. Right, Mart, enjoy the game on Saturday, mate.
I will.
At present, I don't have a ticket for it. I've got other things on. So at the minute, I'm watching it at home. But if you go in, enjoy the moment, because these are the moments that stick with you, and hopefully I'll be able to make it to Dublin when we get there. We'll do that one instead.
Yeah, are you bunking with us in Dublin?
I'm camping on the streets, mate. That's what I'm doing.
Bloody expensive in Dublin. Fair play.
Yeah. Right. On that note, Matt, we are all done, my friend. I will catch up with you. We'll do the same thing again next week. Big smiles, happy faces, and all of that kind of stuff. Enjoy your rugby, mate. Have a good one.
And you, mate. See you again.
Best. Ta-ra.
You have been listening to the Westerer is Besterer podcast from the Scarlet Supporters Pembs team. You can follow us on Twitter on Scarlet Pembs, find us on Facebook with Scarlet Supporters Pembrokeshire, or email us on scarletspembs@gmail.com. And remember, West is best, but Westerer is Besterer. Cheers.
Sports Social Podcast Network.